Welcome into the Brooks Bench with your host Brooke, aka Shiggy, and my co-host Megan.
What's up?
If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. Join us on all social media at the Brooks Bench, and then make sure to join our second chance tournament challenge bracket link in the description. And that's why you guys are all here. We're gonna go over our second chance bracket. Me and Megan are gonna combine on one, and I think we're gonna switch it up a little bit from our previous bracket. So let's get into it. How we did our initial tournament bracket. We're gonna go from region to region and repick and hopefully come up with the perfect bracket because I think you win $50,000, Megan.
Nice.
So, incentive when we're thinking. So, over to Regional 1, we have UCLA Ole Miss. I don't think we're going to spend too much time here. I think we're still going UCLA.
Yep.
Alrighty. Perfect. No offense to Ole Miss. You guys upset Sanford 2 years ago when I didn't think you would.
Yeah.
Okay? I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
But
That was crazy.
that was crazy. But I do think UCLA tough to beat.
hmm
LSU NC State. We're gonna have a couple of these hard decisions, and I
Yeah.
think this is the first of about three or four hard decisions we're gonna have. I know I can go back and forth on this. It just depends on what team kind of shows up. I will say though, where NC State lacks is in the middle. They don't have a huge presence in the paint.
Right.
Their posts like on and off. Maybe we'll get a good game here and there. But you know what LSU does have? Anissa Morrow.
Yeah.
So the
Double
edge,
double herself.
I think the edge lies there for LSU. NC
hmm
State, we've seen them. They can get hot.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw it last year when people were doubting them and they made it, so far, right?
hmm
They just came off a good win where they were all hot.
hmm
But for me, I still think I lean LSU. What do you think?
Yeah. I think I have to lean LSU, but this one was hard because I do think that NC State has key players that could win this game. I
Mm-hmm.
think if Madison Hayes is hitting,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big factor. If they could have Isaiah, Rivers, Madison Hayes, and Zoe Brooks all hitting,
Yeah,
that could be tough to beat.
I
But
think yeah.
LSU also has the double double queen herself, Anissa Morale. That's gonna be hard to guard. We always talked about how NC State really lost their post presence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it'll be a battle. I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining Sweet 16 games.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my bracket that I'm actually doing not too bad in, I picked LSU.
Mm-hmm.
So in my second chance bracket, I am slightly leaning to maybe shake it up and go NC State. But for our combined bracket, I think I'm leaning LSU.
Yeah.
I just think there's more upside, so I'll be risky on my own bracket.
Okay, good. Because I want to go LSU. Regional 2, we have South Carolina versus Maryland. I mean, Maryland, hey, you played a great game against Alabama,
Yeah,
but I think the road ends here.
yeah.
Yeah?
Unfortunately,
Alrighty.
don't prove me wrong again, Maryland.
That would be crazy. If that
uh,
happens, you got to get a Maryland tattoo.
oh, for sure, because that's yeah, I'd
You
be
heard it
okay
here
with that.
first. That's crazy. All right. I really hope South Carolina wins for your sake. Uh, UNC versus Duke. I really think another tough matchup. They're 1-1 on the season, regular season. We always say, I mean, I always say this is a defensive matchup. I've always say that in conference games are always the most tough. Like you play
hmm
each other all the time. You know each other's tendencies. And this is just always not sloppy, but the first game they played, I mean, remember we tuned in on like the third quarter it was like 30-30 and we
Yeah.
were like what is going on? So, I just feel like this is going to be a very back and forth battle. For me, I have to lean towards Duke still. I think they're playing really well. Their defense is good. They're getting hot from three. Ashton Jackson, Reagan Richardson have been playing really well. Not to take anything away from UNC, Alyssa Usby's been doing very good. But I feel like Duke can get hot. I feel like UNC is hit and miss, especially from the 3-point line, which concerns me. But I mean, what do you think?
I've always been a big Duke fan for the men's. So I think it'd just be rude of me to go for North Carolina in any situation.
Yeah.
So I would have to go Duke. But I do think that Duke is on a hot streak right now. I I think, like you said, Jackson, she's hitting, and it's the right time to be hitting.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like they're gonna come back. Hopefully, they get their center back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that was a big missing factor for them in the
Yes,
last game.
definitely.
But I just think Duke is going to be able to hit more offensively. So
Agreed. Okay, Duke it is. Boom. Over to Regional 3, Texas versus Tennessee. The next hardest pick, in my opinion.
yep.
I know in the original bracket I had Texas, but I did have Ohio State advancing over Tennessee. So that kind
Mm,
of was where I was thinking. But after watching Tennessee play against Ohio State and Kim Caldwell's 5-on-5 or 5-on, 5-off strategy working, it made me kind of a believer in Tennessee. I'm not gonna lie to you.
welcome,
Um,
welcome.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like if the downside with Tennessee is they not the downside. The reason they scare me is their shooting is not as consistent as I
Hmm.
would like it to be. It's why they kind of went on a little slump here recently. But how they looked against Ohio State and their clutch shooting, their defense was just causing chaos. It kind of makes me think Tennessee could win this game, but I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not mad at it. In my own bracket, I chose Tennessee. This is the game that will hopefully set me apart
Yeah, for
from
real.
everyone else in our regular bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I gotta ride with it. I just feel like Tennessee, they have the depth. I feel like Texas is just stuck to their five, their
Mm-hmm.
starting five. And I can see this game like potentially if they can get Texas in foul trouble, it going downhill for them. And then if they continue to have kind of a not so strong shooting night, which
Mm-hmm.
Texas has kind of been struggling, I think Tennessee can pull this off.
And I'm glad you mentioned the shooting because Texas has been, I think, in their last two rounds, were averaging like 16% from the three-point line. They
Hmm.
haven't been strong at three-point shooting team. They don't have that consistent threat. I mean, Tennessee, on the other hand, Joel Spear, Ruby Whitehorn can get hot as well. They have
Yeah.
those threats, and I feel like when they are stopping you on defense, when they're doing their full court press, and they get that hype, they're
Hmm.
hitting those clutch shots. It's
Hmm.
gonna be on a neutral floor. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if we went Tennessee here.
Tennessee just has to work the ball. Work the ball. Don't feel like you have to
Don't
force
beat
it. And
yourself.
then yeah, and play fast defensively, but slow it down a little bit
Control.
offensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, control the game. But yeah, so
All
I
right.
don't know. I'm still leaning Tennessee, but I wouldn't be surprised, and don't you guys be surprised if in my second chance I put Texas.
Well, the thing is like we're saying all these good things about Tennessee, but they can easily revert back to a couple of games ago before the tournament started, and I was like, Tennessee, I can never bet on you. Which now that I'm thinking about it, I went against Tennessee because I was like, I can never depend on you. And now I'm falling back into my trap of depending on Tennessee.
Hmm.
So I might have just talked myself out of it.
Well, what are you gonna do? Because if Brooke was here, she'd probably be on the Tennessee
Okay, we'll
train
go
with me.
Tennessee.
So
Tennessee it is. But for warning to those out there watching.
she's only
And
saying that so she can tell us she told us so.
no, because I feel like I'm the jinx. It's a running joke. I'm the jinx. So if
Yeah.
Tennessee has a bad game, it's my fault.
Yep.
Notre Dame versus TCU, another great matchup. You can start this one off, Meg.
Um, I'm gonna lean Notre Dame. I feel like Sonia Citron has been having a tournament. I think Notre Dame themselves as a team has been doing well, and that's with Olivia Miles not fully healthy. And I think that because they've had a couple of days off, I think that will help Notre Dame have the edge over TCU, as well as the fact that Notre Dame has that motivation because
Mm-hmm.
TCU beat them during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, that matchup was pretty early in the season. This one's tough because I personally had Notre Dame advancing to the Final Four. I think their potential in where they can be is dangerous. Like
Hmm.
we've seen it. We've seen glimpses of it. And that's what I was betting on. That those kinds of performances in March when it matters. TCU though, hot from three. They can get hot from three, and threes are better than twos. This is going to be a very competitive game, but I just can't find myself rooting against Notre Dame. I
Hmm.
just can't. I just can't do it. I'm hoping these next couple of days Olivia Miles gets healthier because I want to see a healthy Olivia Miles out there.
Hmm.
We need it. We need it for this matchup, for real. So, Notre Dame?
Notre Dame.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, to me, the hardest matchup of the night,
Hmm.
Regional 4, USC versus Kansas State. We all know Juju is out for the season with a torn ACL. Hoping for a speedy recovery. It's just so devastating when we heard the news. I've never
Yeah.
met this girl in my life, and my heart sunk. Like I've known her, and I was just felt so devastated for her.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. But now we're faced with USC without Juju
Yeah.
versus Kansas State coming off a hot, tough win
It
against
really
Kentucky.
changes this tournament because Juju was having a
Oh,
year,
it
but
changes this entire tournament. I mean, for me personally, I had USC advancing to the championship. Obviously not now, guys, but this was before the news.
mhm.
So, I mean, what are we doing here, Meg?
Kansas State's going to be a tough game.
It's good. Yeah.
Um, we got some experienced players, um, whereas USC is still a young team. We have to remember they're still a young team outside of Kiki and Ryan in the paint. Can my question is, can Kiki do it?
I want to
And
believe yes.
I want to believe yes as well, but I am scared because I know that every team saw Juju go down and they went to their game plan and they switched it up. They said if we come across USC, we now don't have a Juju to worry about. Now we can double Kiki. We can put more focus there. So that means everyone else around that her has to step up.
Mm-hmm.
And are they able to? I don't
I
know.
don't know. This is hard because it's like one of those games that's pulling at your heartstrings where you're like, can USC rally again like they did when Juju went down? And they
Right.
played great basketball. They played tough competitive basketball. Kansas State, though, we can't discount what they've been doing. Their win against Kentucky, they were hot from three.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Serena Sundale's been having a great season. Poindexter off the tough performance, and they get Ayoka Lee back.
Yeah.
And it's just hard because it's like you're right, the experience. Kansas State experienced veteran players versus a younger team in
Mm-hmm.
USC. I want to believe Kiki can do it and push them through one more game.
Mm-hmm.
And because we've seen Kiki at Stanford, that's the Kiki we're like, wow, she gets to pair with Juju. But I know we
Yeah.
were discussing it's like she didn't get to play as freely as she did at Stanford. It's Juju, and rightfully so. We're not discounting like Juju should have passed her the ball or but it's like now plays are for Kiki. Now it's time for Kiki to go to work, right? Will it be enough?
I just think also that Poindexter, is she going to be able to go off and have that type of game that she just had where she was hitting all those clutch threes? I don't know.
Because the game before, what'd she go? It was bad. She had a bad shooting performance the game prior, which is
Yeah.
why it made her story for the Kentucky game so like great because they're like, yeah, my team trusts me just to keep shooting the ball. But you're right.
Yeah.
Consistency, will she show up?
Yeah.
What do we want to
I
do? What do we
think,
want
I
to do?
think, I think what we want to do is we're hoping USC can at least pull one more out for
I
Juju.
know. I think this is more of a fan pull, a fan pick.
Yeah.
But by all means, pick Kansas State, guys. It's gonna be a good. I just let us go with this one, okay? Honestly. And
We're
then
mourning over here.
yeah, we're still devastated. And then the last game in Regional 4, Oklahoma versus UConn. I don't think we need to spend too much time. I'm still sticking with UConn.
Yeah, we're UConn fans over here. Sorry. Sorry, Sooners. Maybe
Boomer
next year.
sooner. No, I feel like Oklahoma's had a solid season. They've just Been right there. Solid
Hmm.
straight line. But UConn, yeah, I think UConn's gonna go far in our second chance bracket. Okay, we're back to Regional 1, UCLA versus LSU. Now, hear me out. It's a second chance bracket, okay? And this is one of those games when I was making my first bracket, I debated hard about. And I kind of want to lean LSU this second chance bracket. The big three can be unstoppable.
Hmm.
UCLA obviously has Lauren Betts, Kiki Rice, but outside of that, there's not that consistent third player.
Hmm.
You'll get some hot streaks, especially from London Jones, Tamia Gardner, Hawkes, but it's never like consistent,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But the big three, most of the time, they're coming for you. It's consistent. So for me, I'm leaning LSU, but I want to hear what you have to say.
I'm not mad with that, and I can get on board because we see that UCLA is beatable because
Mm-hmm.
USC did it twice.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at USC, Juju's a star, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Kiki, but now I feel like with USC, that's a two-headed monster.
Mm-hmm.
LSU, when they're on, they're definitely a three-headed monster.
Mm-hmm.
So I can be on board with LSU finding a way to upset UCLA.
Yeah.
I'm not
I,
mad at that.
I think the only thing that holds them back is foul trouble, LSU.
Yeah.
Um, UCLA, like I said, could get hot from the three if they
Hmm.
decide to have one of those games. But I kind of want to go LSU this round.
What is a second chance bracket without throwing upsets in
Come
there?
on now, let's do it. LSU.
And if we're
Woo!
wrong, that's
It's
why
a
we're on the
second
bench. Okay.
chance. But this is fun.
Maybe they'll give us a third chance. No.
Yeah. For the Final Four? No, no, like. And then over to Regional 2, South Carolina versus Duke. I know we've
South
complimented.
Carolina.
I know. I'm trying to give my spiel, Meg. Jeez. I know we've given Duke its credit all season, and we've been impressed how they've grown throughout the season and how they've been playing lately. Still going South Carolina. There's just
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
need for explanation.
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina. Regional 3, Tennessee versus Notre Dame. And because you chose Tennessee, I'll let you start.
I have to go Notre Dame.
Okay.
I still am just. I feel like they've come into the tournament. They are playing that Notre Dame that was the beginning of the season. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, they're killing teams, and that's without a healthy Olivia Miles. I think she's going to come back healthy for this Sweet 16 and into the Elite Eight. I just gotta ride North Carolina. I mean, sorry, Notre Dame.
Okay. Yeah, the 5 on 5 off strategy will not work for you here, Megan.
I don't think so. I think Notre Dame's five is just their dogs, and then Notre Dame actually has a little bit of depth. I like some of the players
Yeah.
on their bench, so
Yeah.
I think they can give it to Tennessee.
All right. I'll have to agree with you. No need for explanation. And USC UConn. We already
I
talked
think
about
that's
it.
just yeah they
It's gonna be UConn.
yeah they can't beat UConn
No.
without Juju,
No.
unfortunately.
I mean, March is March, but I just don't see it happening. I think they're gonna use all their Riley and Cinderella for Kansas State.
Hmm.
Even though they're not a Cinderella, they're a 1 seed, but
Hmm.
whatever. And then we're down to the final four, LSU versus UConn. This gets interesting. We just complimented both teams. Where are we going?
I think UConn for me.
Okay. That's
Ah,
it?
hear me out.
That's okay, I'm waiting.
Hear me out.
I thought you
I want
froze
to
for a
I want
second.
to easily say South Carolina, but it's not easily coming out.
First of all, we're still on UConn and why UConn should advance over LSU.
Oh no, UConn. I mean, it's just UConn's time. They're gonna make it to the final game.
Okay, well, let me tell you why my UConn. Jesus, you're
Okay.
just skipping ahead. Jesus, oh my God. No, I had UConn and USC right before
Yeah,
the Final Four.
I'm sure most people.
And I went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I switched it at the last minute and I put USC eventually to the championship, right?
Hmm.
And I originally had UConn in the championship with South Carolina. So now
Mm,
I want to go back to having UConn in the championship with South Carolina. I just
mm,
think I really do think fairy tale ending for Paige could be in the what's the
in the
what's
cards.
yes, there you go.
Mm,
Okay, UConn?
yes, I like UConn. And this is where I'm torn. And I don't think I've ever expressed this to
No, you haven't.
you. Usually it's quite easy to say South Carolina. I think Notre Dame is not going to go without a fight. And
Well,
I think
duh.
Notre Dame, there, there's a slight chance
Interesting.
Notre Dame could beat South Carolina.
Hmm.
But I think in my heart of hearts, I think South Carolina will find a way. It's Don Staley, coach of the year. I just feel like they're going to find a way, and it'll be UConn and South Carolina. But
Yeah.
mark my words, followers, listeners,
Hear
fans,
hear me out. Notre Dame's path to get here is pretty tough. So I'm going
it is.
South Carolina because Notre Dame might not even get to this point and then we'll be really out of luck, Megan. So we're
But
going South Carolina.
if they do get to this point,
Yes, okay,
they
if
will
they
be,
do.
they will have been battle tested.
Okay, lovely. So now we have a UConn South Carolina final. I know in my original bracket I had South Carolina winning. I think you did too, right?
Same, yeah. We got to give it to UConn. This is what second chance brackets are for.
Are you sure?
If we don't go UConn, you got to sell your Paige Becker's jersey behind you.
I'm not selling that. That's crazy work. Okay, we can go UConn. We can give Paige her fairy tale ending.
I think she deserves
Championship,
it.
a national championship.
I think she deserves
But
it.
I'll be wearing my South Carolina shirt and rooting for South Carolina. So.
I do remember. I recall us watching last year her getting robbed by the refs on a bad call.
Oh my God, it was not. What was it? A moving screen? It was not.
Did you forget?
Yeah, the movie. It was a moving
That
screen,
was
right?
devastating.
Hey, they broke
So
it down the film, and the foul was right, Megan.
still debatable. So
Okay, we need a final score. I think we should
what
go
are we
low.
thinking? 145.
Yeah, let's go low. I don't even think that's low, but whatever.
It's lower than what we put. I think on
I
the
think we put
other
like
bracket now.
150 or something like that. That's crazy.
Okay.
All right, UConn. Second chance bracket. That's crazy.
Woo!
So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in for our second chance bracket. Make sure to join our second chance tournament challenge group. I'm gonna submit my bracket. I think I'm gonna be a little different than what we combined on. Cause I like your strategy of choosing a little bit different from your original bracket. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Good luck. My bracket is toast. My original one, toast. Megan is good. That Tennessee upset, Meg, I hope it happens for you because that'll be like an ingenious pick.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be like the pick of the year. You'd be up there. You'd be up
Yeah.
there with that. But thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll be here all March Madness. And we'll be back. Peace.
Peace.